Hello and welcome. If you're here for the first time, thank you for choosing to tune in. So there's a story that I've come across that has really piqued my interest. So it is from The Telegraph, and the headline starts off by saying, "Exclusive, Meghan wrote to the king over racism concerns." So first and foremost, when a newspaper has an exclusive, that is, the word itself shows that it is a story that no one else has reported on. So in journalism, this means this is a scoop and an exclusive item of news reported by one journalist or news organization before others, and of exceptional originality, importance, surprise, excitement, or secrecy. And in journalism, scoops are very important and are likely to interest many people. So basically, when someone has a scoop, this is a special report that does not appear in any other publication or any other channel. So these people have this scoop, The Telegraph. So let's get into this. And for those of you who also want to know about The Telegraph, it is not a tabloid. The Daily Telegraph is known as a national British daily broadsheet newspaper. So basically just getting that out of the way. And of course, with a lot of British outlets, one cannot really say if they have been unduly negative against the Sussexes. And in the particular case of the reporter who broke the story, Victoria Ward, I went over a couple of her own articles that she has published for this broadsheet, and for the most part, they just seem to be reporting on the news. She, has published articles on Prince Harry and Meghan, other members of the royal family, puff pieces, and some of it also being just the day in and day out of them when they go out on their royal engagements and on and on. It seems that she's mostly published just the day in and day out of the lives of the members of the royal family. So let's get into this. I just wanted to get that out of the way, but of course we will obviously take a lot of these stories with a pinch of salt. So let's get straight into this article. It says, "The Duchess of Sussex expressed her concerns about unconscious bias in the royal family in a letter to the king, The Telegraph can reveal. It is understood that the correspondence was sent in the wake of the March 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview, in which the Duchess alleged that a member of the royal family had speculated about the color of her unborn son's skin. A source has said that the Duchess feels she has not received a satisfactory response to her concerns, and that is believed to be one of the factors in her decision not to attend the coronation on May the 6th. It is understood that her letter was sent in reply to one from the king. He is believed to be the only senior member of the family to make contact with the Duchess after the interview. Then Prince of Wales, he is understood to have expressed sadness over the chasm that had emerged between the two sides of the royal family. He is said to be disappointed that the Duke and Duchess felt the need to make such high-profile and damning allegations. In the interview, the Duchess told Oprah that there had been, quote, concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he is born, end quote, speaking of Archie. A source claimed that the letters make clear the identity of the senior member of the family who made the comment. It is understood that both the king and the Duchess acknowledged that the individual's remark was not made with malice. The Duchess is believed to have thanked the king for his words. The Duchess's letter is also said to suggest that she had never intended to specifically accuse the individual involved of being a racist, but was raising concerns about unconscious bias. However, it is understood that she does still consider the comment to be racist. So I'm going to interject here and talk about how the alleged letter that was sent from Meghan is being interpreted by this source that is basically trying to filter this information. I'm going to just put this out here. If, in fact, there has been a letter sent by the Duchess, first and foremost, this outlet, and I think many other outlets, have learned from what happened with the Mail. Do not publish any letter sent by the Duchess, because the Sussexes are not afraid to get litigious. So we are basically getting an interpretation of the letter from this source. So that's where I will be filtering whatever is being said, because as you can see, the points that are being put forth here are going out of their way to put King Charles in a positive light. So it is quite noteworthy that this does lend credence to the fact that there has been briefing, and this is what Prince Harry talked about. How would the Telegraph know about the scoop unless someone from the palace had let it out? And you can tell by the spin, it is meant to put King Charles in a good light, especially in light of the fact that Meghan will not be attending the May the 6th coronation. Everyone can guess this, that a lot of outlets have been pressing sources within the palace for whatever negotiations may have been going on behind the scenes to get the Sussexes there, and trying to figure out what went wrong, that Meghan stayed back and Harry went on to go. So this is possibly some of that trickle down of information on behind the scenes negotiations that were taking place. And we can see here that they are saying that King Charles is basically the only senior member of the royal family who is said to have had any kind of communication with the Duchess of Sussex after the May 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview. So it is interesting that they acknowledge here that the King and the Duchess acknowledged that the individual's remarks were, quote, not made with malice. And they say here that the Duchess is believed to have thanked the King for his words, and that the Duchess's letter is also said to suggest that she never intended to specifically accuse the individual involved of being a racist. So it is interesting that the narrative has shifted from nobody said anything about Archie's skin to basically now there is some acknowledgement that someone said it, even from the side of the palace. Someone said something concerning Archie's potential skin tone, and now they're trying to filter that information. Can we call this spin? Can we call this spin? Or are they just trying to get this information out in a way that will not get them into any kind of litigation with the Sussexes? Let me know your thoughts. So the article goes on to say this. It goes on to say that the royal source, remember that, suggested that while the exchange was warm in tone, it has not eased the tension between the two sides. The Duchess is understood to feel that concerns she has raised, which crucially included the way in which bullying complaints against her were handled, and the allegation that neglect by the institution led her to feelings that she had. I'm not going to specify that because of the algorithm, but we know what she talked about, what she went through, her struggles. And she said that she feels that what she went through was still not resolved. Interesting. We do remember that the palace had that bullying complaint against Meghan and how it was all just kind of swept under the rug. It's interesting that this article brings that up. A lot of people had not really thought about that. They were keeping on saying that Meghan and Harry wanted roles for their children in the coronation, want them to be on the balcony. But this is a huge point. There was that massive allegation against her that, she had bullied her staff, caused them to cry, caused them to, quote, shake in fear of her, and nothing came of that. So it was just put out there into the world, into the stratosphere, and after they had their behind-the-scenes investigation, it was just all done away with. So I'm sure the Duchess would have liked that to be addressed in a way that felt open and had a definitive conclusion. And I think that is quite a good point here that's raised. Let me know what you think about that. So the article says that it was confirmed earlier this month that the Duke would attend the King's coronation on May the 6th alone, as the Duchess had opted to remain at home in California with their children. The desire to put her own family first by staying with Archie on his birthday, which falls on the same day, was said to have been the deciding factor. However, this article says that she may have wanted to protect herself by sidestepping the inevitable criticism and attention that her appearance would have provoked. So now this article goes on to talk about how royal sources, how they had predicted that they did not expect her, and on and on. I'm not going to go into that. because it also goes on to talk about how the 6-part Netflix docuseries and the Duke's memoir Spare had been received by the family. So that's not key to what I want to cover here. So yes, the article goes on to cover a lot of situations there in the palace. But there is something else here I want to point out. As we know, the Duke of Sussex made clear in a television interview he wished to reconcile with his dad and with his brother. And this is something else they say. Tensions with Charles were soothed when the king did eventually reach out to his son, and the pair had a heart-to-heart shortly before the Duke confirmed his attendance at the coronation. What do you think about that? Because we also heard reports that the king was too busy to see Harry when he had gone over to the UK and surprised him there as he showed up to court. So I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt. Perhaps they did have a talk, but who can speak to the tone of what that conversation was? So this article, I'm going to go on to be quite honest and say it does have quite a very positive spin when it comes to King Charles. This is actually a line in this article. Quote, "The king has long championed multicultural Britain and believes firmly it is his role to protect and celebrate such diversity." And they say that he has recently given his backing to a research project into the royal family's historical links to the slave trade, having previously expressed his, quote, "personal sorrow over the suffering of transatlantic slaves." So I see a lot of positive PR for King Charles in this article, possibly smoothing over the fact that Meghan, who is the only member of that family who is a woman of color, who was a senior working member, is not a part of, such an important day for the royal family. And a lot of people across the Commonwealth who are majority people of color, they cannot overlook that. That's not something that people have not taken note of. So I see a lot of spin in this article. But this is my takeaway. I know a lot of outlets, as I've said before, are possibly looking for any kind of information on what kind of talks were had to ensure the Duke of Sussex shows up and what may have happened to make Meghan step back. And I think this is the beginning of that trickle down of information. So let me know your thoughts on this news. And as always, I say let's take this all with a pinch of salt, because we can see a lot of spin in this article. So who knows, possibly in the future, we may get to hear the Sussex's side to all the conversations that took place and how they felt that in the end, Meghan, had to step back. And possibly Meghan may open up more about how she viewed her time as a working member of the royal family and how she has felt about her relationships with the members of the royal family. So let me know your thoughts. So let's see what happens as the royal family attempt to put on a united front for the coronation. For sure, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So let me know your thoughts once again on this in the comment section below. I would love to know your thoughts. As always, a special thank you to those who support this channel. To my Patreon, PayPal, and membership supporters, I would like to give a very, very warm thank you. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of you here. A special thank you to Valerie Sedeno. Thank you, dear sweet Valerie, for your love. Thank you for giving. Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate you and love you. Thank you to Patricia Crenshaw, another long-time supporter of this channel. I want to thank you for being so open-hearted and kind and supportive of my work here. It truly does mean a lot to me. And a special thank you once again to JCD. Thank you for your generosity and your unwavering support for my work. God bless you. And now a special thank you to those who gave through super thanks. Thank you to you, Gail Tapscott, who as well is a channel supporter. Thank you so much. God bless you for your continued support, for your kindness. Thank you, Gail. Thank you to Anitra Turner. I appreciate your love and your generosity for this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Now, once again, leave your thoughts on this news below. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe. It does truly help out the channel. And if you want to watch more, click the links in the cards and in the end screen, and I will see you there. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.